As much as I love being a soldier, I absolutely hated not being able to go home as often as I wanted to. So this particular holiday was super special because I hadn't been home in over 3 years. And this time it was the best holiday for our family. It was Passover, which meant all the family was coming home. We were going to go to church together and have dinner at Granny's. My last visit home, my daughter was just a toddler, but this time she's 5 years old, my big girl with all this personality. So we went shopping and she found the prettiest dress in the store. It was white satin, had these big puffy sleeves and a beautiful heart-shaped cutout in the center back. So we get up, we get ready for church. We're on our way. We are late, but we're on our way. So we get there and she sees Grandma Helen. She takes off running because she wants to sit beside her grandma. Well, I see Granny and I want to sit beside her too. So I'm going down the aisle and I'm waving hi to all the aunties and cousins who I haven't seen in so long. I get to my seat, but before I sit down, the choir starts to sing. I recognize the song from the first beat. So I decide I'm going to stand up and sing along with them. This little light of mine, I'm gonna, and I feel a little tap on my hip. So I look over and I say, yes, Granny. And ever so sweetly, she says, Jackie, why doesn't that baby have a sweater on? So just as gentle, I say, oh, Granny, she's fine. And I continue to sing my song. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And I feel another little a tap on my hip. So I look over and again I say, yes, Granny. This time it's a little different. She leans in. She's frowned up, eyes are squinted, and she takes her voice up a notch and says, Jackie, why doesn't this baby have a sweater on? So me in my motherly, authoritative voice, I say, Granny, she's fine. And I continue to sing the song. All in my house, I'm gonna let it shine. When I tell you, this lady was banging into my hip this time. I remember blinking and taking a deep breath, and I said, yes, Granny. She forgot we were in church because she's no longer using the church voice. You know, that's like the library voice. It's the soft tone that only the person you're talking to hears you. She thought we were outside because she said in a full-blown voice, Jackie, why doesn't this baby have a sweater on? That triggered something, I guess, my PTSD, because the staff sergeant in the United States Army boy said, soldier, you are grown. Tell her that. You're an adult now. You are married. You and your husband have been raising this child for 5 years and she is fine. If she puts a sweater on, you can't see the beautiful heart-shaped cutout in the back. I was like, yeah, I'm grown. The voice said again, yeah, you're doing what adults do. You have life insurance. You pay bills. You are grown. Tell her. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Song is over at this point. So I figured, let me sit down and explain this to her. But before I do, the 10-year-old voice sounds off in the other ear and says, Jack, no, don't do that. That's Granny. Did you forget? She carries a switch in her purse. You are not grown to her. Did you forget? We were raised with corporal punishment. She just gave you all the signs. She leaned in. She spoke to you in 3 different tones. Jack, you are about to get it. Well, this voice sounded a little louder and said, soldier up. So I was like, that's right, I'm grown. So in the midst of getting ready to sit down, I look over at her and get ready to say, but before I can even get the first syllable out, she punched me in my shoulder. I fell down on the pew and literally slid down. At this point, all I hear in the background are my cousins just laughing it up. Well, I stand up, I grab my purse, I drop my head, and I put my finger up and say, excuse me, pardon me, please, excuse me. But before I get to the end of the pew, my grandmother says, and you better make it back before the sermon starts. I replied, yes, ma'am. Fortunately, my mom lives close to the church, so I get out and I floor it to her house. I grab the sweater and I floor it back. I come back, I hand the sweater to my daughter, and so sweet and gentle, she says, Mommy, I'm gonna put this on right now, okay? Because I don't want you to get in trouble again. I said, oh, thank you, baby. Thank you so much. So I sit down, I look over at my grandmother, and she says, she smiles at me. She doesn't say anything. She smiles as if to say, oh, you're such a good mother. So I smile back as if to say, oh, Thank you, Granny. Well, church continues. The sermon is amazing. Afterwards, everyone's coming up. We're giving hugs and kisses, saying how much we missed each other because they haven't seen me in so long. I feel another little gentle tap on my hip, and I look over and I say, yes, Granny. She says, sit down. So I have a seat. She says, Jackie, why did I have to ask you 3 times about that baby being covered? That sounded like a question to me. So I got ready to respond, and she shushed me. She said, Jackie, that baby needs to be covered at all times. I said, yes, Granny, it will never happen again. And it never did, because from that point on, I started carrying big bags. Always had room for a sweater, jacket, shawl, or something. But 28 years later, it's still the family joke. I went to a cousin's house about a month ago. As soon as I walked in the house, she said, Jack, does Tasha have her sweater on? I said, of course she does. Granny may be gone, but her legacy lives on. And that's my Granny.